Jai Hind everyone. With the changing multipolar world, I think it's high time for the world to recognize India as the global rising power and to understand India's view of perspective regarding global world order. If the world want peace, it's time for the countries to make reforms in the global institutions like the United Nations and to give permanent membership in the United Nations Security Council to the countries like India, who are the continuous supporter of the world peace, and the countries like India who wants a better, prosperous, peace and tranquil world for the entire humanity. In that regard of permanent membership, there are few countries in the world that support for the India's membership in the United Nations Security Council, and France comes in that list. France is the is that is the in that list is in the list of very few countries that wants India permanent membership in the United Nations Security Council. France has always been the constant supporter for the membership of India. France has always stand in favor of India on many international occasions. France is the only country that currently that has not provided any defense equipment to the adversaries of India, whether it be China or Pakistan. So France has always been a very trusted and reliable friend of India, and France has now been called India's new best friend. So Jai Hind everyone. So today Avikrant Pawar is here to discuss about the Indo-France relationship. The relation between both the countries, India and France, share a very close bond of cooperation, coordination, and a very tight bond of cordial relation. The relation between both the countries has been termed as a strategic partnership. Both share a very strategic partnership with each other. And as I told earlier, France has now been called as India's new best friend. The relation between both the countries, we both countries have a century old relation which dates back from the 17th century when the French came as traders in India. French have established its relation with India as a tradesman, and both countries have a century old history of trade relations. From 17th century till 1954, France maintained a colonial presence in Indian territories of Puducherry, Mahe, Karaikal and Chandranagar. These are the few territories in India that was occupied by France. But after the independence of India in 1947, France established its diplomatic relation with India, and in 1948, France, under an agreement with India, ready to give all its French territory, all its French India territory to the Indian government. So France has always been a close friend with India. After India independence, the relation between both the countries shows a positive sign. But a new phase in the relationship turned out to be 1998, when both the countries established a special strategic partnership, or called the strategic partnership in their relations, which is the first kind of partnership of India with any European country. India has not signed any special partnership with any European country at that time, but in 1998 it did to enhance or to give us a better relationship with the country of France. India signs its relationship with the France, strategic partnership with the France in 1998. And after the Pokhran nuclear test in the year 1998, many European countries and many Western countries has put sanctions on India and left India like a pariah. But France is the only country that refused to put any sanctions on India and understand a better vision of the India's internal security. So we have a better relationship with France in that perspective. That strategic partnership that we signed with France in 1998 based on three important pillars. First, start with the defense cooperation. France has always been a key major ally with India in terms of defense. But in the recent year, we have shown that India has significantly reduced its dependency on Russian military hardware, and that on the other way benefited France. India has increased its trade in terms of defense with the France. We have benefited, France have benefited almost 10 times in terms of defense trade. Whether it be Rafale agreement and many other defense agreement that we are going or we have signed with the country of France. France is the second largest arms supplier from the year 2017 to 2020-21, which shows that France has been a continuous supplier to the Indian defense, Indian military hardware. Whether France has supplied Mirage 2000 in the late 1980s, and recently France has supplied 36 Rafale to the Indian Air Force. So France has always been a very trusted and very reliable ally for India, and we are further focusing for the Safran aircraft engine to support the Atmanirbhar Bharat that was under the Prime Minister Modi's vision. So France has been a very strategic partnership, and we always wanted to have a very cordial relationship with France. Second is the space cooperation. Both countries have a very connected domain in terms of space. France is helping India to launching the Gaganyaan mission, that is the first human mission is space of India, and both the countries, both the space agency, both the country ISRO and CNES, that is the French space agency, have collaborated on many occasions and developed many joint satellites. Example like Trishna is a joint satellite that was launched by both the countries. And third is the economic relation. In that regard, I think both the countries lack in that regard, because there is a very wide range of scope for the trade relation between both the countries. But as of now, the trade between both the countries is hanging around almost 10 to 15 billion dollar, which is very low in compared to the trade between Japan and the countries like USA. We have the trade with these countries approximately 50 to 100 billion dollar. So in that regard, the trade between France is very low, and we have a very wide range of scope for the enhancement of trade with the country of France. Many French businesses are in India. Approximately 100 French businesses are currently working in India in many sectors. So France is being a very important partner for India in terms of trade. So we have to, if we want to enhance, or if we want to close our cooperation with France, we have to enhance our trade with the France. So if at last I've come to the conclusion, yes, France is significantly very important for us. I can say France can be a gateway for India to enter in Europe, because France is a very important country in the Europe, and many European countries follow France as their leader. So it should be very important for India to be in continuous engagement with the France, and to ready France and to be engaged with France to sign a free trade agreement with the whole European nation. So that's all for today. Thank you everyone.